So hi and welcome to the Data Explorers Market Update. I'm Will Duff-Gordon. Today a topic close to my heart is the ageing population in Japan, and we'll be writing much more about population ageing and retirement ages and the effect upon economies if it wasn't for the ructions going on in the world markets, because this remains a very unresolved and very significant thing. In Japan, a quarter of the population are retirement age or higher right now, and by 2020, not that far away, a third of the population will be at retirement age. And the average life expectancy is 82 years in Japan. So how does that translate into the stock market? Well, gold is down 3% today, and if you're looking for safe havens and you're bored of the other ones that I've been going on about, maybe pharmaceutical companies in Japan with their high dividends and the numerous numbers of people who need to buy drugs in Japan, these could be a good place to put your money. And that is the case that institutional investors are rather overweight the Japanese pharmaceutical sector. If you look at the Topix 1000, institutional investors own more pharmaceutical companies than they own almost any other sector in that particular index. So what are the particular companies that we can look at? Well, there's a company like Eisai, E-I-S-A-I. The brokers are very pro this company. Was a big short actually, quite interesting, at 12%, but it's come down to 6% recently. So the shorts are covering and the share prices are going up. And there are other companies in the notes that the brokers are very positive on. If you want to know where the shorts are happening, it's rather ironic because there are these generics. Obviously the Japanese government is keen to bring in more generic drugs because that should lower the cost of buying medicines for the Japanese people. So it's surprising to see a bit of short interest in Sawai Pharmaceutical, because that's one of the kind of companies big in the generics area. Short interest has gone from 4 to 6% in that particular stock. And that could be because the Japanese government is probably going to fail in its attempt to get 20% of pharmaceutical sales by volume in the generic category by April next year. So it's just probably a short-term bet that is going to be harder and take longer, to break the grip on the patent drugs that the big pharmaceutical companies have out there. On the topic of generics in general, it's interesting to look at the Ranbaxy Laboratories of India. They have a GDR listed in London. Institutional investors are buying more in that. So I think in the long term, the generics drugs companies that are listed could be a good sector to have a little look at. That's all I'm going to talk about. If you'd like to read, there's a little bit more detail in my report in the usual place at dataexplorers.com/news.